All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Terence Bud Crawford reacts to Jaron Boots Ennis's next fight and says, "What's up with the double standards?" Yes, what is up with the double standards? Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be in the 147-pound division where we finally get an answer to who Jaron Boots Ennis will be fighting next. And it's going to be a former opponent of Terence Crawford. And Terence Crawford on Twitter seems to, or X, seems to raise issue with it and says, in essence, what's up with these double standards? And like I said in the beginning of this video, that's exactly what I wondered. What is up with the double standards, bud? What is up with the double standards? But I think that the double standard that I'm looking at is significantly different than the double standard that Terence Crawford is claiming, because there are some similarities between what happened to Terence Crawford and what happened to Jaron Ennis. But there's some very key differences that make those situations not comparable. Now, before I get into it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It's everything to the channel. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. But let's get into this. Let me sip some of my coffee out of my Hershey's cup. Hershey syrup cup. Because I might yell in this one out of frustration. Man, Terence Crawford is one of the best fighters I've seen this century. But man, he plays victim. For somebody that's never been victimized in the ring, man, he plays victim outside the ring. Jaron Ennis has a fight announced that he will be fighting David Avenetian in Philly. I do believe it's going to be in July. I think the date of the fight is in July. Don't quote me on that. We'll do more videos about it as the fight goes on. And David Avenetian is the same opponent that Terence Crawford fought after Shawn Porter, but before Errol Spence Jr. So when this was announced that Jaron Ennis would be fighting David Avenetian, Terence Crawford said, "What's up with the double standards?" Now, I took that to mean that he thought that it's okay. Why is it okay or people are saying that it's okay for Jaron Ennis to fight David Avenetian? But when he fought David Avenetian, so many people criticized him and called him a duck for not fighting Errol Spence, for fighting David Avenetian. But here you have Jaron Ennis fighting David Avenetian, and for a belt that Terence Crawford had, that Terence Crawford was stripped of for not fighting Jaron Ennis. And in the mind of Terence Crawford, just looking at those facts seems like hypocrisy, right? Seems like double standards. Huge differences in this that make it completely different. Number one, David Avenetian was not the first choice of Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis was supposed to be fighting Cody Crowley. And Cody Crowley pulled out of the fight with some issue with his eye. Then Jaron Ennis, who was signed with Matchroom, had a promoter, Eddie Hearn, find somebody to fill in. And it was David Avenetian. I don't doubt that there is some coincidence there. that there's something beyond coincidence there, because Terence Crawford fought David Avanesyan. Now Jaron Ennis fights David Avanesyan. So Jaron Ennis is going to try to do David Avanesyan worse than Terence Crawford did. That's a standard promotional thing, especially when you're trying to aim of one fighter to fight the other, right? And so one of the end goals for Jaron Ennis or Eddie Hearn may be to match up the two, so they have the same opponent. But here's the problem. Here's the big difference. Jaron Ennis again fought Avanesyan because somebody pulled out of the fight. Terence Crawford fought Avanesyan because he pulled out of a better fight. See the difference? People criticize Terence Crawford because it was he that pulled out of the negotiations for the Errol Spence fight. After saying that he had accepted all their BS terms and all of that, Terence pulled out of the fight. In this case, it was Crowley that pulled out of the fight, and they filled in with the replacement. That's a gigantic difference. Why would somebody criticize Jaron Ennis when somebody pulls out of a fight and he needs a last-minute replacement? And why would they criticize him for that? I have no idea, because it seems like nobody wants to fight him and he's got to fight somebody. I have people on my channel every day talking about how he needs to move to 154 because nobody's going to fight him at 147, right? And isn't that what people were saying about Terence Crawford when he was at 147? That nobody would fight him. You know, Errol, everybody fought Errol, nobody would fight him. Right? So here's the double standards. One is Terence Crawford. But remember, I said that there is a double standard. I disagree with what I believe he's saying the double standard is. That either you don't criticize Terence Crawford for fighting David Avanesyan and don't criticize Jaron, or you do criticize Jaron and him equally. No, because it's two different situations. One is Terence pulled out of a fight to fight David Avanesyan. Pulled out of a fight to fight David Avanesyan. Somebody pulled out of the fight with Jaron. Jaron wasn't even trying to fight David Avanesyan. He was a replacement. While Terence Crawford specifically chose David Avanesyan instead of Terence Crawford. Major difference. So what is the double standard? The double standard is the one put up there by Terence Crawford, where Terence Crawford was always claiming that the top guys would not fight him, that Sean Porter wouldn't fight him, that Keith Thurman was refusing to fight him, that Errol was refusing to fight him, that even now at 154, they're colluding not to fight him. But when he gets on top at 147, he doesn't fight Jaron. And is very blatant about not fighting Jaron. And is very, very clear about not fighting Keith Thurman and other guys once he got to the top. So is that the double standard? It's not okay for Keith Thurman not to fight you. It's not okay for Errol to fight other people before he fought you. But it's okay for you to leave Jaron Ennis high and dry and not give him an opportunity to prove himself against the best fighter. What's the real double standard here? Seems like it, to me, is over on Terence Crawford's side. But at the end of the day, I don't mind. They're both great fighters. I'm looking forward to seeing Terence Crawford fight Ismail Madmarov. I'm looking forward to see Jaron Ennis fight anybody. David Avanesyan will do. David Avanesyan will do. Cody Crowley probably would have been a little better. Terence Crawford would have been a lot better, but it is what it is. The man got to fight somebody. That's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.